Good afternoon, Christian. How are you doing?
Kevin, long time no see. Doing well?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're doing great, Christian. Lots of stuff going on. So
Yeah.
great to have you on board.
Yeah. I wanted to still participate somehow, but didn't know what worked. And being Wednesdays worked out great, so I figured contribute here best I can.
Well, and congratulations on your election result.
Thank you.
I'll just get the agenda together. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. Hi, Christian.
1 second.
Hi, thanks. So you passed the first test, Christian.
Sorry, what was that?
You've passed the first test.
What was that?
Getting the correct meet ID.
Yeah, I tried to join previous ones just to listen in, but link was wrong.
There are two links from on the intersect space. One of them is correct, one of them is incorrect.
Interesting.
Still? I thought that was fixed.
Look. Not sure. Christian was saying otherwise.
I touched it like 4 times last week. So unless something else changed.
Well, if you fixed it last week, this was all last month I was trying. So
okay.
And hi, Uday. I forgot to say hi back.
Hi. Well, congratulations, Christian.
Thank you.
Hi, Neil. Welcome. So I've pasted the agenda into the proposed agenda into the chat. Neil, do you want to? No. Okay.
So there's no point. It's a relatively complex measure, and I'd prefer to be, let's get. It's going to be something that's going to roll on.
Okay.
It's
something that will grumble away.
Oh yeah. It's just hard for
So we'll give people a few more minutes to join. I can ping Martin probably. Yep, Martin is here. Great. Welcome, Martin. So Tex is making a procedural point. He's asking us to provide brief intro in the chat. Hi, Alex.
Hello.
Hi, Martin. Is your microphone working now?
You have to unmute at least first. That beard's got bigger since I last saw it.
Alex, can you type? Hey, all right.
I can see Alonso is here as well. He was getting a thumbs up and a thumbs down, but I can't see him on the list of people. You're hiding, Alonso. I don't know how.
Text, it says that Alonso is moderated contributor.
Yeah, it probably means that he joined with an email different than the email that he
Uh-huh.
provided for membership or whichever. So if we need to clarify that, we can.
Okay.
Can we?
You can bring him up though. You just click on the dots and invite to contribute or whatever.
I don't have that option. I have let participate. Okay.
Ah. Who set up this moderated contributors then?
So this was a change made across all Intersect committees so that they had the same format. What this means is that people can come into the meeting, they can watch, they can view, but only the people that the secretary and or committee members and or chair approve get to come up to the stage and have open mic ability.
Thanks for letting me in, folks. I was desperately trying to fix my 50 Gmail profiles, but you let me up anyway, so thank you.
Great. So for those who are moderated contributors, the process, as Tax is explaining, the system has changed. If you want to make a contribution, please indicate, and we will let you in. We'll admit you into the set of speaking participants. So I can see Alexander, Ian Hartwell, Ken Eric, and Nicholas Beery are joining us as moderated contributors. So welcome to the Technical Steering Committee meeting of the 13th of May 2026. I've pasted in the chat as usual the agenda items for today. Please, and pinned that. So please do indicate if there are any other agenda items that we should raise during the session. It's a relatively light agenda. This is partly to allow the new members to get their feet under the table before we launch the full maelstrom that is technical steering upon them. So first item on the agenda is welcome to the new members and introductions. So let's take, so first of all, congratulations to everyone for going through the election process. We are honoured to have you on board, and we are grateful to the Intersect members who voted for such a good team. So congratulations all round. So let me just ask those who are not previously members to introduce themselves. So Alonso, I can see you first.
Sure. My name is Alonso. I go by Epoch in the Cardano community. Host of Cardano Over Coffee, our daily Twitter space. I've been a SPO since 2021, and most of my experience outside of crypto is in fintech, working at MasterCard and a few other places, but an engineer through and through, and happy to be here.
Great. So you're bringing a new perspective to the Technical Steering Committee, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and I have had a lot of years spent on other chains. You know, I started, with Dogecoin and Bitcoin back in 2014 when I had nodes running out of a laundry basket, and then I moved to Ethereum, and then from Ethereum to Cardano and a bunch of other places. So I've run infrastructure on a few different chains, and honestly hated most of it. Cardano, I think, has a very good environment for running nodes, so it's why I've stuck around.
That's great. Great. So bringing your experience there to bear is also going to be very helpful to this group. Great, Christian. We've met you before, but would you like to introduce yourself as a member of the Technical Steering Committee?
Yeah, so mostly most people might know me, open source cowboy logo, moniker, whatever you want to call it. Went from civic servant to public servant, so I'm here. Affiliation status change is I work with the Filecoin Foundation now, and then I advise Charlie 3 and Undomio projects. So I'm between both of those ecosystems, but yeah, happy to help and contribute back. If you need anything open source, I'm still that guy. So.
Fantastic. So you and Udai work closely together, I assume?
Yeah.
And Martin, last but not least, from the new members.
You're muted, Martin.
All right. Hello. So I'm Martin. I've been working on Cardano since the end of 2018. I'm working for IOG, leading the networking team, and really happy to join you guys here.
Great to have you on board, Martin.
Is Carl in your team?
Yes,
Perfect. Send him my regards.
sure.
So, for the benefit of the new members, this is a collegiate community. We're not forcing people to do particular things. So please find your own niche. There's a lot going on within Cardano, so please do look out for opportunities where you can contribute. And please do feel free to bring items up for discussion. So I said before, if you have any items for the agenda, please do raise them. You can also raise things out of band via Slack. And as usual, if you have something which is confidential, please use the appropriate channel. Don't make some of the channels are public, others are less public. We're aware that some things we discuss may be sensitive or confidential. So with that,
Are we supposed to be in Slack? I'm not in any Slack org yet.
yes, Alonso.
Sorry, Kevin. Tex, did you handle these? I was under impression you did. So just double check it.
I did. I may have missed Alonso. That's my fault.
Okay,
Shame on me.
No stress.
perfect. All
Tex.
good.
I'll fix it today.
Apologies, Alonso.
Okay.
So we're communicating via Slack because that way mostly we can keep the channel more contained. Also because it works better with most of the developer base. So the familiarity issue is one of the reasons why we're using Slack. Great. So first item on the agenda, Bosco, over to you. Actions from the last meeting.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Just give me 1 second to go there. As usual, we have everything documented. Still, okay. Okay, where are we? Okay. Actions send onboarding invites and details to the newly re-elected members this week, and that was for the last week, and that was done. If anybody didn't receive the email, let me know. Okay, you had me to coordinate offline to draft the DApp developer comms regarding cost risks, but should we do that anymore, Kevin? Actually.
Yeah, so we had a discussion with Leonard Hegarty, who's been in contact with all of the. So he's leading the DApp contact. He has been messaging them with the issues. So as far as I'm aware, that's been carried out directly. What we might want to do, Bosco, is to make one final tweet prior to pushing out the or as we're pushing out the governance action to update the protocol parameters, just to make sure that everybody is aware of the change.
Do you want that to be done from the TSC account and then shared further, or you want that to be from the Intersect account? I think TSC is more appropriate, but
Yeah, I do it from the TSC and then amplify it as we need to.
okay. Can you articulate just the input, and I will make sure that it's being done with the comms people?
Yeah, I can do that after this call.
Perfect. Okay, that's done. Okay, also for you, Kevin, to invite IG cryptographers to present specific post-quantum risks of Cardano, but I suppose that's not for this week.
Well, I've invited them, Bosco, and the response was to refer me to CPS 27 and CPS 13.
Okay.
So what they're basically saying is everything you need to know is in those two CPSs. I will keep trying, but I may need to find another cryptographer. Maybe with Martian, I can do that.
Kevin, to whom did you speak to?
I contacted Thomas Vellacoop.
Thomas Vellacoop, okay. Because I already got involved on CPS 28 or 29. And the purpose of this invitation here would have been to get a sense of who is researching what where. And the CPSs are a great document. They speak about the definition of the problem and somewhat framing the scope, which definitely is relevant, and there are already discussions happening there. But from a TSC perspective, or also a personal note, I'd love to know if and who is actively working on the CIP, respectively on the solutions to these CPSs, aside from Nightstream, aside from Sebastian. Neil?
My concern is I'd like to know what the risks are, what are seen, right? Because basically, if we don't turn around and, I'd like someone to come and tell us what they think the risks are, and then, as you have said, Alex, what happens if these people don't produce? Should we've got to worry about the non-production of solutions, or how much risk are we at individuals leaving organizations and this not happening? Because we can't let this one's going to come and bite us in some point in the future. Yeah.
The risks are indeed in the Cardano problem statement, and honestly, it's a good document.
But the other thing is, I think it'd be nice just to know the general risks of this stuff in other areas too, because if people, I think, need a wider information base here, right? Because if we're going to be questioned and asked, we need to know the set of risks for a blockchain like Cardano are different from, let's say, the set of risks for telecoms, right? But they're all going to be crypto problems, right? Or quantum encryption problems. It would be nice to understand the space a bit wider, okay?
Quantum cryptography space at large.
At large, because the
Fair enough.
a lot of the risks that some people have, we don't have, right? The risks are different, right? It's just if it's a matter of just helping us inform ourselves, right? And if the answer is become an expert and read the SIP, that doesn't help people who don't have the who haven't. It creates a barrier to entry. That's all.
Because one of the jobs we have is presenting technical information to the community, providing GREPs with information they need. So if we don't have that, it's kind of hard to do that. I'm conscious that Nicholas is listening on this. I know that part of the IOR Treasury withdrawal is supposed to be looking at post-quantum. So the landscape appears to be quite rich and possibly quite complicated. And as you're saying, Alex, it'd be good to get a feeling for that, to address that.
what I've highlighted here are these 3 risks that I mentioned before from the CPS. And there is more than most probably think that could break in Cardano. Because consensus is based on quantum breaking cryptography, NTKS scheme.
Can you drop this link on the chat?
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you.
So Alex, that's part of the point here. I can understand why it's not there, right? For example, consensus is not there in that list, right? I can understand why it's not there in the
Was
list,
that for me?
Oh, no, it is.
right? However, that's something that everybody else. I couldn't speak to it. I believe I know why, but I'm not an expert in this area, so I'd like to hear some expertise and then be questioned.
Yeah, so what CPS seems to be calling out, Alex, as I understand it, is the 3 cryptographic uses of signature schemes within the protocol. So it's calling out the signatures, but it's not saying it's not indicating any knock-on risk from that. So one of the knock-on risks, which is not apparent, is that defending against post-quantum attacks might involve additional cost in signing the keys, for example. So it might involve replicating keys, having alternative keys, multiple keys to sign a transaction. And if you do that, what you're doing is you're cutting into the throughput, you're perhaps increasing the latency of transactions. And that is not obvious. Okay.
Thank you. Now we're at the point where I appreciate the discussion, and that's exactly where we should go. What happens to all the cost models and the sizes of transactions if the signature sizes are larger than now? And quantum signatures are larger. That's precisely where we should focus already now, even though 2029, 30, hopefully, is projected to be there. I would argue earlier, but let's see. But yes, that's the type of questions we should look at.
Yeah. So one of the risks is that all the additional capacity we're building in, all the improvements in latency, finality we're building in are obviated by the need to deal with post-quantum crypto. That would be unfortunate if it was the case.
Historically, the design team has had to push back on the crypto people because they come back with answers which would turn out to be not technically feasible to implement, or they have done in the past, right? And we have to send them back and say, well, this can't work, right? So what I'm concerned about is they may come up with a technically sound solution in their mindset, in their viewpoint, which turns out to be operationally infeasible, right? And it's not the only potential solution they've come up with, which is the strongest in their mind. So I think this is a conversation we need to have to understand that trading space.
One of the things we'd proposed to do as part of the INSEC/TSC budgets was to hold a series of technical workshops. And this could be a great topic for a technical workshop. And obviously that would be open to the community. We could record that. So fingers crossed we can make that happen. A virtual workshop would be easy to organise.
So maybe we could ask you to point out the transcription of what we've just said, and I'll point out to the researchers that actually what is contained in the SIPs is not sufficient to meet the whole of the Cardano ecosystem's needs, and that's why we wanted to have an opportunity to engage in a constructive dialogue with them.
Would it be feasible to invite Sebastian Seba from Midnight? Because as far as understood, the media and some individuals within Cardano and Midnight assume that Midnight will be the quantum secure layer for Cardano, that there is an interplay here, that Cardano has the easiest path to upgrade. And I don't particularly understand that angle yet. I assume that Sebastian has more answers to that. Yes, Neil?
I would suggest we start off with finding out the issues and exploring the problems, right? And then talk about potential solution paths. But I think because it's not just us understanding this, it's there being a body of material that all the other members of the community understand, that is unbiased and right. So just saying, Alex, I think that's the case. But I don't think we're in solution mode for this yet. Is what I'm trying to say. I think we're in problem discovery mode at the moment.
I'm in understanding the landscape mode. I'm looking around the environment to even understand what the type of problems are. Yes, but I think we're aligned.
Yeah,
I can't see that quite working from a technical perspective, Alex, because if the keys are vulnerable on Cardano, the fact that Midnight is resistant doesn't really help you, I would think. You're still exposed.
If every transaction now has to be routed through Midnight, then yes.
Oh, if every transaction gets routed through Midnight, but why would that be the case? That's like
I've heard people think that this is Cardano's solution.
But every block, every block, every transaction would have to be routed via Midnight.
The standard transaction on Cardano is just not allowed anymore. Everything needs to be routed through Midnight.
I feel like that's a weird take, but that's my opinion.
I think so too. But I've heard that version, and the media thinks to understand that is the case, which is why we are on top of all the quantum readiness indices that are now coming up. And Cardano is being praised as super forward-thinking, but nobody within Cardano actually knows how to solve it. It's kind of weird.
Well, I mean, it's tough, right? I think the stuff you were highlighting earlier, our wallet signatures, our consensus signatures, any bridge that touches us, all of those things are going to have different levels of resistance. So they all need to be improved. So I could see how the layman would be like, oh yeah, we're just going to put everything into Midnight and Midnight solves it. But I think the reality is like we have to look at each type of signature and how much space is allocated for it, possibly increase that space. There's also the NIST post-quantum standards, and I definitely recommend that we look into those. They have a few algorithms that they recommend. I'm forgetting the names of them, but there's 3 of them, and I would just offer that.
But the problem is that they're, at the moment, in the current research state, they're too large for blockchain applications. All the NIST recommended signature schemes. But yes, definitely that is the right one to look at.
Yeah, Crystals, Kyber, Crystals, Dilithium, and Sphinx Plus.
This is exactly, we're describing a trading space, right? Right, size, time, throughput, delay, etc. Right, and if we don't understand, the trades, we're going to be in trouble. That's the point, right?
Great. So good technical discussion here. We're digressing a bit from the.
That's fine, but the point is, what we're seeking. Are experts to come and from people who are experts and masters of this knowledge to come and talk to help us understand how to best progress. What we're not looking for is we fix it over there, because that doesn't work.
I mean, someone has to be working on this at IOG, right? Like there has to be someone who's working. That's my first question: is who at IOG is in charge of the quantum research? Because we can go, like I do, like my job right now is security engineering. So I am and I have a background in physics. I love quantum. I will research quantum shit all day for free. But what I think doesn't matter. What matters is like, what is IOG actually researching and building, and what are they moving toward, so that we don't create some alternate narrative that's like going in some different direction.
Alonso, so that we can do due diligence over it. Let's start there, right? Right, because that's the key question. Is that we're supposed to be an independent set of bodies. We're not here just to rubber stamp what IOG does. Okay.
No, but I want to know what work has been done to date, and they're the ones that are supposed to be in the front. So like, it's like I'm just asking the person closest what's been done, so that can factor into the due diligence. I agree with you.
Yeah, but the way I'm reading this is Kevin went to that person and he got pointed at these steps.
No, Thomas is not the quantum person.
He's not the quantum person. Okay, right. Okay, so look, I think the point is what we're highlighting here is a gap that we need to get filled. We need the vendors who wish to bid for this work in the future to turn around and help us fill it.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. So so Fergie was mentioned. Fergie Miller from IOR was mentioned. I can link up with him outside this call, and he might be interested in helping us progress that. So let's continue with the remaining items, then we can go back to the agenda. So final items. Neil and Sebastian continue the Laos technical risk discourse. So that's happening as I understand it.
Yeah, and actually, what we're going to do is I'm going to keep it going in the TSC, right? I don't think the document's helpful in exposing the risks, right? Because I've read through it and it doesn't help progress the problem. And the problem, just for the people who've joined, is that at some point in the future, there will be a linear layers implementation, and it will be what are the conditions under which we turn it on, what are the size of blocks that are going to be chosen, all that type of stuff. And the TSC is supposed to have an understanding of what is going to work and what's not going to work, right? And these are all the performance-related risks associated with this, associated with the system. And what we need to do is start making sure the evidence is there, so that the parameters committee can actually make a sensible decision. That's all. That's what we're looking for at this point. Okay.
Go ahead,
Martin.
I wonder if we actually you phrase it very what would be the most amount of information that would be useful, like to know everything about how it can run with various parameters. But maybe actually for running it, we would need to understand how can we bootstrap it with reasonable parameters and how it compares to the current Preos, and then have a path towards how can it be improved over time, like changing the parameters, how that can work. And this is all this kind of knowledge that we gained with Praos while we've been running Praos.
Yeah, but the idea, but we're not. The point is, this is a running chain with value, and it's supposed to give huge improvements, etc. When we did this with Praos, the cost of ballsing it up was small. That it's existential if we don't get this right.
Yes, but we've been changing the parameters over time when the value of the system was already something.
Well, we don't. But the point is, this is a large. I'm saying, Marcy, it's a large change. The day we turn it on, right? Okay. Let's get some. And the point is, the conversation, we've had models, right? There are models out there. I'm asking how those models have been validated, and then, it's all about trust, right? It's all about trust. It's what I'm saying is we don't have a knowledge base to do this. As a TSC, my concern is the code will be handed to us by the vendor, and that's it, right?
Well, that's not it. It should also like indicate how to bootstrap it, how can it be run, how can it be started.
I don't see that there's no
in a
evidence.
safety way.
There's no evidence those work items are present in the vendor's roadmap.
Okay.
That's my starting point, Martin. And I'm willing to be proven wrong. Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, and the
Alex?
concern you were raising last week, Neil, just to the benefit of everyone else, is not that the security of the system is at risk. That seems to be covered, as I understand it. But that the Laos implementation might not deliver the performance expectations. So it might be that if the settings are wrong or the assumptions are wrong, that we can't get the throughput benefit from Laos that we anticipate.
Your state, I mean, I just don't know how we could turn it on. I mean, it's, to Marcin's point, if we don't know how to bootstrap it, what we should expect, what happened, how do we turn it on safely? Right, that's the first point. Okay, that would be my starting point.
I'm already lost. What is it here? What are we turning on?
Linear Laos.
Oh, just Laos.
No, linear Laos.
Oh, that is
Linear Laos is what Laos was what was discussed for several years. Then it became a cut down version with a whole different set of assumptions called linear Laos. They called it linear Laos, but it actually isn't what was researched. Okay.
got it. That's huge, helpful. Thank you.
Well,
It wasn't.
you claim it bold, Neil. Like it is a simplified version of Laos.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's something entirely different than what was researched. And I'm sure you can see that it's a step towards full Laos. It's not a it's considerably simpler. It avoids various
problems. Okay, Martin, it creates a first to finish synchronization at the block level that wasn't present in the original design.
Yes.
Thank you. That makes it
is linear. It is
but
it's simpler. It is much closer to what
it's conceptually simple. I mean, the point is the problem here is, come on, you know me, right? It's conceptually simpler, but actually none of the research, all you've got to back up that it actually performs is a Rust simulation.
Yes.
Okay, and that's all I'm asking you to do is to basically de-risk that problem. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Great. Final action, Bosco, was one for you and Ryan. So we're going to come back to that, I think, in the call. Is that correct?
In the next 23 minutes.
Great. So
the biggest intro so far. Okay.
I was. That's why I've not put too much on the agenda, Bosco. I was anticipating that some of the actions would need some discussion with the new committee members. So, but it's been great discussion. That's what we're here for. We're here to have the technical discussion, and this will also give the committee members some context, the new committee members context for items that come up in future. Great. So next item on the agenda is to discuss the Van Rossum hard fork. Don't think Ryan Wiley is with us today.
He excused himself, I think.
He's excluded himself. That's fine.
And the other Ryan is not here as well.
Right, other Ryan is not here. So do you want to work through this and I'll add additional flavour?
Okay, but you actually gave everything that is needed, so it's self-explanatory. Okay, so hard fork was enacted last week on preview, the respective Harvard initiation governance action was submitted on pre-prod the same day. We are generally withholding the voting and passing the voting threshold on pre-prod until we resolve the risk with Ogmios readiness. There is some progress there being made, but is not yet in the green zone, which is what would help us determine when. Again, if it's voted for and it passes the threshold until the next epoch boundary on 16th on pre-prod, then it means that the first possible hard fork enactment date on pre-prod is 21st of May. And that is, again, if we collectively make it happen by 16th. When it comes to mainnet submission, governance action is of the hard fork governance action is still planned for 29th of May. Okay, so Plutus parameter updates was ratified on pre-prod, and now it will be enacted on May 16th. So that's past the point of no return, so to say. So that's going to happen. We need to decide on whether we need to, TSC, not we, I'm not the member, to decide on whether to submit a Plutus parameter update to mainnet this week. Then it will be followed by CC size as well. And I suppose we covered the Ogmios risk and the risk register, no big changes. The biggest one is actually about the Ogmios, which is IOFIX is available and it's being discussed. Draft PR is there. I think that guy, I forgot his name, Matthias, right? He's participating in a discussion in the PR, so I suppose we will have it, but still needs to be confirmed with the proper PR. Would you add anything, Kevin? I think you wanted for TSC to ratify. Yeah, Matthias Benko.
Yes.
You wanted to ratify, from the TSC perspective, to ratify the Plutus parameter update to be submitted to mainnet.
Yeah, so let's have a discussion about that.
Okay.
Item 4, item 6, we need a bit of discussion about the good summary, and the overall status is everything is progressing. It's all moving forward in a positive way with a few small glitches at this point in time. But the uptake of Node version 11 by SPOs has been very good. We've already got 14% of stake pools producing blocks on mainnet using Node version 11. So the SPOs are showing good readiness.
Sorry, small correction between yesterday and today, 19, so 5% increase.
19, okay. When I checked this morning, it was 14.
Okay.
So it's increasing in a very positive way, and everyone is showing a great deal of comfort with Node version 11.0.1. So this is all very good. So to come back to the Plutus parameter update, we had agreed. So we discussed this last week. What we had said, and I checked the minutes, was that we would want the parameter upgrade to be available on pre-prod for one epoch before submitting on mainnet. Now, looking at the dates, you're saying the update's been ratified yesterday or the day before. It won't be enacted until the 16th.
16th. Yes.
16th, correct. So we could hold back on the Plutus parameter update until then if we want maximum comfort. But there are good reasons to try to get it out sooner if we can. As the technical status is that we're not seeing any major issues with the upgrade. However, there is one caveat that full node level testing of the new primitives has not yet taken place. That needed to wait until we had an integrated node which only happened last week. So the full benchmarking by the performance tracing team hasn't yet happened. That's expected to happen by the end of the month. That's information I just got from Michael Karg earlier today. So there's a question for the TSC, and the question is, are we comfortable with progressing with submission of the Plutus parameter upgrade on chain now for voting, or should we hold it back longer? Is that impacting the hard fork schedule, for example?
Where do we get the detail on the Plutus parameter? I mean, I assume there's more than one parameter that governs Plutus, right? Sizes, like multiple things. This says Plutus parameter singular. So I guess maybe I'm confused. Where do we see the specific parameter changes? Yeah,
this is something we've been discussing in detail over several months, Alonso. So
sorry to be late.
No. You're new to the group. Of course, you need the context. I'll pass on the detail. Maybe Bosco, you could put the link from the hard fork working group. There was a discussion earlier today. So if you paste that in the chat for me, that would be great. Do you want me to give a summary, and then I'll let you speak now?
Well, I was going to give the summary. That's what I was offering.
Give the summary then. No, go ahead.
If you don't mind, Kevin,
Okay.
The summary is in. So the story so far, right, as they say, right, is that a set of parameter changes were proposed for all the versions of the models, right? The parameter changes have to be, some of them were for new features, and some of them were changing existing features, existing values for features, right? And what happened is, when we have had parameter updates in the past, the values have always gone down. So the costs for any particular operation have either been the same or less. In this particular case, there were a couple of parameters that were costing more, right, after having been redone. This raised a concern that unless people were doing it properly, existing transactions might hit issues, right? It then turns out that there were issues because of when people tried testing this. So this is why so what we've got to the point where people have tested on a preview, or was it pre-prod? I can't remember which way. They're about to test it on pre-prod. And when we issue these parameter updates, there'll be 6 weeks for them voted on. Once they're voted on, they'll enact in the next epoch. And we'd like to get this in place so that when the new hard fork occurs, the new parameters are available for dApps. Is that a reasonable summary, Kevin?
Yes, that's a reasonable summary.
Does that help, Alonso? That's where we're at, right? And the point is, it's this risk that by increasing it turns out that if we'd just done this, there were some people who've been really upset, would have been broken, right? And that's, we won't go into why, but just say they're broken.
Thanks, Kevin. Got hand raised.
Yeah, sorry guys. I just wanted to put out a reminder or a notice to the new members. So for any current and new members that were not aware, performance and tracing, they do meet at least bi-weekly or fortnightly, however you prefer to say it, on Thursdays, and I believe that's at 4 p.m. UTC. So definitely something to check out. It is on the Intersect events calendar if you ever need to connect directly with that team.
Thanks, Tex. Yes, I attend as many of those meetings as I can, of course, and would like to emphasize the quality of the work that they're doing and the assistance they're giving. So I've pasted, Alonso, I pasted the link to the changes. This was provided by Elena from Intersect earlier today. I think Elena is actually sitting in the call as well as a I'm trying to remember the name, as a moderated member. So we could ask Elena to step forward in Ryan's absence. Yeah. The question is, do we wait for them to perform their final checks before submitting, or are we comfortable with submitting now, optimistically that if things didn't go right, Neil, if things did turn out to be problematic, we would have to retract back to governance action and submit a new governance action. It would be embarrassing to do that, but not fatal.
So yeah,
Sorry, Elena.
yeah, go on. Sorry, Neil.
No, I was gonna. No, so please, I talk too much. Go.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, Kevin, as we've been speaking today, we have already kind of created the action, although we might need to change a little bit of the metadata and recreate it. Although our main focus is to check if the Plutus cost model is the same as the one that has been tested on preview, Sancho, as well as in pre-prod. That's the main part. We have shared it with the hard fork working group and people in the Plutus team, as Kevin said. So it is being heavily kind of tested to see that we are submitting the correct ones. If anything changes or if anything comes across, of course, we have time before it has been enacted to create a new one, although, as Kevin said, embarrassing would have been, not fatal, as long as it is not ratified and enacted. If something like a problem comes across in pre-prod or preview before the action in mainnet, as I said, is being ratified, enacted, we will have the time to create a new one and then appoint everybody to the new one to vote with any of the changes. That's all from me. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.
Is that in the rollback and mitigation strategy?
The rollback and mitigate. This would be a preemptive, Neil. So it wouldn't be rollback and mitigation. The rollback mitigation strategy would be, if this was enacted and there were problems, to submit a governance action that reverted the changes. That would be the rollback strategy.
Right. So my concern here is we need to be upfront that we are not, that we're doing this and we're not waiting for the team to do this, and that if there is an issue, we will be issuing a update and rolling this back. Right? My concern is that we are upfront the fact that we're taking this risk, right? And we're doing it for a purpose, to not slow down the hard fork. Okay, that's my problem. My point is, I don't feel my issue is we're being pushed to act in a way that we wouldn't normally act because of time pressure, right? And that's concerning.
We could be more cautious, Neil. So we could wait for the. So we could, instead of putting this action on mainnet now, we could wait for the performance and tracing results, and we can wait for pre-prod, as we discussed last time, and then we could take the decision at a future meeting. I was only aware of the timescale that the P&T team were working under earlier today, this afternoon.
Okay, right.
In fact.
Okay, so but pre-prod would be the 21st.
Pre-prod will be enacted on the 21st. Yes.
Right. So that enacted on the 21st. Theyefore, no, Bosco would it
16th.
That's what I thought.
It's already ratified.
Right. So basically, it's going to be enacted on the 16th. We'd know that we'd have our one epoch clear by the 21st. That's the
Right.
point,
Yes.
right? So if we were following that process, we would be submitting it the 22nd or later. Yes, and I don't know how these phase works out between it and mainnet.
I
Okay,
think the 23rd, Neil, but I would need to check.
right, because it has to be submitted, etc. And we don't have any commitment to have these results until the end of basically the 1st of June. So we have a 1 week risk. And I'm just saying, I mean, it's a matter of, you know, how does this affect the hard fork? When's the hard fork wanting to be put in?
The goal with the hard fork would be to submit it on or around May the 29th.
Yes.
And ideally, we want this to precede the hard fork. It could.
Are these linked? Are these linked? If we put it in and we have to rescind it, does that stop the hard fork occurring?
No, no.
They're not linked in the. They're not building on each other.
They're not formally linked, Neil. This is just needed to ensure that the new primitives are available when the hard fork is enacted, and also that the changes to the Plutus cost model take place. So the changes to the other primitives take place as soon as possible.
If I may quickly, there is also like a side consequence of submitting a Plutus update as CC_min size reduction as a parameter update action as well will be chained to the Plutus parameter update. So there is a sense of urgency around that, I would say as well. So not only the hard fork, but the min size is depending on this in a way. You're on mute, but I got you.
What I'm trying to say is, yeah, the point is there is an urgency, right? But there's also a risk. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. And what I'm saying is, if we go in and say these haven't yet been validated, and we reserve the right to take them out, or to put in a new set, right, or rescind this, right, then we're clearly talking about both of those, and those are chain transactions. Yes, Kevin, those two are chained.
Those two are chained. Yes.
Yes.
And what we've discussed before is that the Plutus upgrade should have priority over CC_min size. Again, for the benefit of those who are joining, this is reducing the size of the minimum size of the Constitutional Committee, which is the threshold below which it would cease to be functional. So currently that is 7. We have 7 Constitutional Committee members. The proposal would be to reduce it to 5, so that we wouldn't hit a cliff edge if one CC member resigned, for example, as happened in November, December last year, rather dramatically.
Mm.
Okay, so what I'm sensing is that we shouldn't take a decision now.
I don't mind taking. I mean, we clearly are not going to submit this before the 21st, are we? Are we? This is what I'm trying. What dates are you? Could I have a? I mean, everything. What dates you? What's your proposal, Kevin? When should we submit this?
Well, my proposal, based on the discussion and on the information that is being given to me, would be submit this on or around the 21st to give time for the pre-prod governance action to be tested. So for the upgrade to be tested on pre-prod and give some feedback window. Also to give sufficient time for the performance and tracing team to provide us at least with preliminary results. And so
would we, in which case, do we need to ask the performance and tracing team what order that we'd like the answers in.
I can ask that. I suspect, given that we want to cover off all of the new primitives, some of them may be more problematic than others. I can have that discussion with them.
Okay, I'm happy. Let's do that. Unless we could say that's what we do. We submit it on the 20th. Unless something goes wrong, we take that risk. That's fine. Okay, I'm happy to do that, and then we should submit at the contemporaneously the CC min update. Right?
Yes,
but,
almost contemporaneously.
Yeah, but the point is, I think we need to be very upfront that we may have to roll this back should final testing. That we're doing it to not to slow the hard fork, and should final testing reveal something, we may have to pull the plug on it. Okay.
So what are you actually proposing in terms of the submission date? So we could just come back to this next week.
No, I'm proposing we do it on the 21st and make the decision now.
Okay.
And we can always undo that decision, right? But unless something else changes, I'd like to make give everybody a chance to plan to something that we pull the plug on, because we have evidence to pull the plug.
Okay.
We're just saying, let's just be concrete what we're proposing, not push it off.
So conscious of the time, if we want to do that, let's organize a poll now. Right. Bosco, could you organize a poll for us?
I just want to add one more thing as a context. So this basically determines when do we, almost determines when do we want to fork preprod. Right? Or not? No, preprod Bluetooth cost model is going to be enacted. Okay, never mind. I got it wrong. Okay, what should be the poll now?
So the poll I think is very simple. It's should we agree to submit the pre-prod governance action for the Bluetooth upgrade on May the 21st. Sorry, mainnet, not pre-prod.
Mm-hmm.
I did a check. I should run I normally do this at the start of the meeting, but we are quorate. We have 8 voting members.
Elena, is the date of 21st correct? Because that was aligning with the pre-prod depot boundary.
It's the submission.
Bosco,
it's a submission date. It's not. It doesn't have to be aligned with an epoch boundary.
I know it just gives more time for voting. I'm just saying. So, is it that you want it 21st?
Let's assume the 21st, Bosco.
Okay. Okay. Should we agree to submit the mainnet governance section for the Bluetooth cost model on May 21st? Yes, no, and abstain will be the options. Launched. You can vote on it.
So you might have to inform people about how to access the polling. So
9 dots in the bottom right corner, and then you will find the polls option. Scroll down if you need to, you will find the polls option and you will see it. You should be seeing it there. Okay, first votes are coming in. And I need to say that only those who are TSC members has a right to vote, essentially. Just saying. We need to have at least, I don't know how much. If anybody who is not a TSC member voted, let me know. Like, just because I cannot see it here right now. I just see that only 4 yes and 1 abstain so far, but I don't know who is where.
So the motion doesn't carry.
At the moment, let's give people a chance to complete the voting.
7-1 right now.
So
7 to yes.
So you shouldn't give the result whilst it's being cast.
No,
That's not good. That's not good practice. So what I'm seeing is that 8 votes have been cast. Has any TSC member not voted? Okay, so all the the 8 present TSC members have voted. Now you can give the result, Bosco.
7-1. Do you want me to end the poll?
You can complete the poll. So based on the poll, we are proceeding with the motion. Thank you everyone who voted, and we record the result as 7 yes votes, 1 abstain. And as I wrote in the chat, we do have the opportunity to hold that back if there's some negative information that transpires before the submission date.
Could it also go in another direction? So meaning that it could be submitted before 21st?
We voted for submission on the 21st.
Okay. Okay.
So the short answer is no, Bosco. That's what we voted for.
You can argue that, but there's no point. We're already all time. So I think
This is democracy in action. Okay, so conscious of the time, I just wanted to call attention. So Bosco, we've drawn attention to the Ogmios issue. That is currently the major risk. It turns out that a lot of tooling depends on Ogmios, but the maintainer isn't in a position to make changes. Fortunately, IO team members, particularly John Lutusky, have stepped in to propose a change, and we're confident that that will now be put through the process, that we will have a working version of Ogmios in very short order. So thank you to everyone for doing that. That was an unexpected hiccup that we encountered. And the only thing I wanted to draw attention to, apart from that, was the budget proposals. We have a TSC proposal in the Ecclesia system. Please do look at it. If there are any things that need to be that you would like to be changed, we can discuss this in the next meeting. We don't have time to do that now. There will be X spaces and virtual hubs that Intersect is organising, as well as the opportunity for a 2-minute video. Please do get involved in those. We'll pass on the details via the Slack channel to you all. So please do participate and please do support the proposal. We think the TSC proposal is a sensible one. And we also think the Intersect position on technical coordination into 2026-27, we believe that's the correct approach. So, but please, if you have any questions, particularly new members, familiarise yourself with the proposal and be happy to discuss that at the next session. So thank you very much. Fun discussion as always. Look forward to talking to you all again very shortly.
Great meeting you all. Cheers.
Yeah,
Everyone. Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.